Hi, I'm Carolyn Evans-Hammond and welcome to my tasting room. Carolyn's tasting room is where you can taste exciting wines with me. And tonight, we taste a flight of winter warmers, 2 from France and 2 from Italy. Wines that you'll want to open and pour this time of year because it's still February and it's still cold outside. So the flight includes the 2019 Château Argadens Bordeaux Supérieur from France, the 2021 Tessellae Old Vines GSM from the Côtes de Roussillon in France, the 2017 Tenuta Valpolicella Ripasso Superiore from the Veneto region of Italy, and the 2018 Zenato Amaroni della Valpolicella Classico, also from the Veneto. So let's taste. And the first wine in our flight is from Bordeaux. It is Château Argadens, and it's a wine I think you're going to love. So pour yourself a glass and taste with me. First, the color. Notice the depth of color. Great depth of color here, suggesting ripeness. And when we give it a swirl and watch how the wine's viscosity drapes down the inside of the glass, you know immediately it's a full-bodied wine. That can be confirmed by glancing at the label, 14.5% alcohol. Absolutely full-bodied, definite winter warmer. So have a sniff. So much going on. Now we do know going in, this is 60-40 Merlot Cabernet. So there's going to be from the Merlot, you're going to get dark chocolate and you're going to get cherry. From the Cassis, something like currant. And we know this spent about, more than a year in oak. So we're going to look for some oak influence. So have a sniff with that backdrop. Cassis or black currant, more like dried black currants with a little bit of cassis. Dark chocolate, cocoa, like a dusting of cocoa powder. Definitely cigar box. Salt and pepper and slate. Just so much going on. I'm even getting a whisper of dark olive or something, which I really like. And black turned earth. Lots going on. Every time you approach it, offers you something new. Definitely a mark of quality. I love that because this is a wine that sells for only about $22 in Canada and around $15 in the US, which I think the value proposition is high once you taste it. So have a sip with me. Isn't that gorgeous? Sweeps in, drenches the palate, but it drenches it in that absolute, Bordeaux or French way where it's not all fruit forward. It's rather earthy and elusive. So much more than just primary fruit going on. Do you notice that? I do. And I love that. To me, that makes it, it makes it pure France. And it's a kind of wine you definitely want to pour at the table. So let's have another sip. Remarkable balance. Wonderful plushness, velvety mouthfeel. Nothing standing out. Even that there's 14% alcohol. There's no alcoholic heat at the back of the palate. There's enough acidity to balance the mid-palate stuffing. And it goes on and on with everything we found on the nose, echoing on the palate, resonating for ages on the finish. Fabulous wine for the money. And the second wine in our flight is from the Roussillon in the south of France. And I think it's a marvelous value find at around $20 in Canada and less than $16 in the US. So pour yourself a glass. Let's look at the color. Immediately notice the depth of color. Again, this is a winter warmer. So we're looking for those lush, plush, sumptuous reds, and that's what we're getting here. This also has 14.5% alcohol, so it's a big wine, but I think it's balanced. And I think, more on that in a moment. But let's take a look. Beautiful depth of color. Give it a swirl to get the aromatics into the bowl and a nice sniff. Very different than the last one, isn't it? Now this is made from 40% Syrah, 40% Grenache, and 20% Mourvèdre. So teasing that apart, The meaty notes, the grilled meat is there for sure from the Syrah. The juicy red berry goodness from the Grenache. And the dark undertones, sort of the earthy graphite dark earth from the Mourvèdre. And that's what the blend provides, and that's why it's so fetching. That's why we love it so much. So let's have a taste and see how it shows in the mouth. Beautiful, smooth, hedonistic wine. This is a wine that you can drink with steak. This is a wine that you can have with cassoulet. And this is a wine that you can drink and feel France in with every sip. It's so lovely. There's a lusciousness here. Now this is a bone dry wine, but because it's 14% alcohol, but there's no heat at the back of the palate, just lush fruit stuffing, makes it incredibly pleasurable in the mouth and really a pleasure to drink. Yes, you can drink it on its own. It'd be more difficult to do with the Bordeaux, but yes, you can do that with this. But you can also enjoy it with meat because that meatiness from the Syrah is fabulous with red meat, especially grilled red meat. Interesting fact about this wine is it actually saw no oak. So everything you're tasting is just terroir, meaning the fruit and the place it came from. Just fun, right? I like it. So have a taste and let's also see how it's expressing itself. So many things going on. Everything on the nose, yes, but suddenly I'm getting coffee. Suddenly I'm getting mocha. I'm getting earth, yes, but I'm also getting Brazil nut. Do you get that? Hazelnut. And that is not oak. You're getting a bit of salinity, a certain brininess too on the finish, which makes you salivate and makes you want to eat. So this is a fabulous wine that takes you to the south of France and definitely great this time of year. And now we head to Italy. We head to the Veneto region and we're tasting a 2017 Ripasso. So it's nice to find a 2017, so a wine with a real bottle age that's showing beautifully at this price point. This sells for around $18 a bottle. So pour yourself a glass and notice the color. First, it's important because the first place to tell the maturity of a wine is on the color. A wine that's past its best is definitely showing amber, especially at the rim. If you look here, this is not an amber wine yet. So this is, this is still ruby, which is lovely. It means it's really maturing beautifully and is still young for, from a wine perspective. So give it a swirl and a sniff. Isn't that beautiful? There's an elegance here that comes from the evolution of bottle age. Figs, pastry, but sort of like Fig Newton style. A little bit of nuttiness. Sultanas, for sure, sultanas. So lots going on, and every time you approach it, it offers something more, and that's the charm of an older wine. I'm dumbfounded at how well this is showing. 2017 at this point, 2024, so given the price point. So have a sip. Isn't that delicious? Beautiful. Lots of fruit still, very youthful, sprightly, yes, not at all out of balance. And the elegance, the suaveness of this wine is just remarkable. It's sort of like silky, and as it shifts from one thing to another, it shifts as opposed to sort of punches out its different articulation of flavors. And that's what's cool about this. The elegance, the delicacy, the tapestry of flavor. And it's a kind of wine that, yes, you can tease apart all those flavors if you like, play the game, but you don't have to. It's also approaching that level that you just, want to let it slide in and experience it without having to talk about it. But you can, and we will. Beautiful. Oh my. Cherries, nuts, figs. The cherries are interesting because the cherries are robed with a chocolate, and they have a slate element and a little bit of a dark almond, like burnt almond note. And then if you follow that through, it shifts to praline, and on the very finish, a little bit of saline and a little bit of cream even. So I love this wine, and it's a kind of wine that I think is just a knockout buy, and I will certainly be drinking it all winter long. And now we get to Amaroni. Now, Amaronis are special bottles. These are wines that are made from fruit that has dried in lofts for months. So the fruit for this wine dried in lofts for 3 to 4 months before then being pressed and macerated and made into wine, and then aged in oak for 36 months. So, you know, they're expensive to produce. They're not inexpensive to buy, and I think they're worth it. Now, this particular bottle is only around $55, which for Amaroni is quite a bargain. It's $55 in Canada or the US, and well, let's taste and see what you think. Pour yourself a glass. Notice the color, again, black. Now, if you're making wine from dried fruit, you're going to get depth of color, concentration of fruit, and you see that immediately in the color. This is pitch black right through the core. Absolutely. You're also going to get, you know, relatively high alcohol because, again, lots of sugar in concentrated dry fruit. This one has, you know, 16.5% alcohol, so this is not a lightweight. But this time of year, absolutely. Fireside sipper, yes, please. After dinner of, after a dinner of, brisket or something like that, enjoying it by the fire with maybe a slice of cheese or two, perfect. So, on the nose, beautiful, right? Dark chocolate, for me, this is all bitter dark chocolate. Also dried cherries, dried black currant and blackberries. A note of, I love this, there's a hint of truffle in here. Little bit of roasted mushroom. Suddenly I want, wild mushroom risotto. So lovely. Have a sip. How much fun is that? This is a kind of wine that, what's interesting? This wine is about umami, that wonderful, unmistakable flavor that it's difficult to define, but absolutely there. You get it in Parmesan Reggiano, you get it in soy sauce, you get it in this glass of wine. Do you get that? I absolutely do, and it's fantastic, and it lingers on the finish for ages. And you have this, like Amarone with Parmesan Reggiano, you are laughing. Dead easy and dead delicious. This has lots going on. We can go on and on about the complexity. It's absolutely long, and it's a bargain. Is it a winter warmer that you need to know about? Yes. So there you have it. A flight of fabulous wines for February and the rest of winter. 2 from France and 2 from Italy. Which wine did you like best? Let me know. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because I'm coming right back with another flight of delicious wines here on Carolyn's Tasting Room, so you can drink better and learn how.